Takže vítajte na skupinových
English.
It's an English group, yes, good. No translation needed. Welcome to the group interview with Venerable Bhante. You have basically 45 minutes for the whole session, because afterwards there's a Dhamma talk. There will be 2 hours of sitting, so it's good to finish this a little bit earlier, so you can have at least 15 minutes of walking, and you can ask questions concerning your practice that you're doing here. There are quite many of you, so it's good to be short and precise to the point. And Bhante will reply, and you can ask him what's the if you have any questions in your mind.
Any question?
I have one question. Can meditation cause in the first few days headaches?
Yeah, sometimes when you are changing from the normal day-to-day running to this meditation schedule, so might take little time for adjusting. Sometimes breaking sleep or little headache and that kind of thing. So you have to be very friendly with your body and be very, very sympathetic to your body. Give the time for adapting.
So I have a question. So when walking, it tends to happen to me that there are like many different sensations that I notice when I'm mindful, and if this happens, that there are like many objects competing for primacy, it's then also fear of losing mindfulness creeps in, and yeah. So this is I guess my question is there something to do about this, or should I just kind of, okay, I noticed that there's this fear, and just kind of still try to determine what's kind of the primary object, or?
So can you enumerate feelings, what you are going to be trying? It is something related to bodily sensation, or mental situation, or past or future things? What kind of thing?
Mostly, I mean like bodily sensations. Yeah. So for instance, like various aspects of touch. So like which part of the foot is touching the ground, cold. Then also like the weight also placed on ankle, and things of that sort. So there's like.
So everything that is happening right now here.
Yeah.
So that means everything is included in the Kayanupassana, the body sensation. So if you have doubt, if you are entertaining doubts on you, have to be careful about the primary object. Otherwise, let everything to happen. That indicates you are not dead. That indicates you are not sleeping. That indicates you are not unmindful.
I know that I'm mindful. It's just I guess I fear that I will be kind of overwhelmed by the number of things that I notice.
No, it's the efficiency of your mindfulness, sensitivity of your mindfulness. Mindfulness is very alert, very amplified. Everything has become very prominent. That means you are very alert, very vigilant, very diligent.
Okay. It's just because yesterday, for instance, you reminded me that there should be like a natural object that comes to the forefront. Yeah. And I have trouble determining which is it in this case when there's like many of them.
Give me an example.
So like I said, there's sensations of cold, hardness, like which part of the foot weight on the placed on the ankle, also sometimes like a kind of sensitivity in the knee, those kind of things.
All you have to welcome. Because mind is not focused on one point, but instead is focused on the whole area. So a lot of things are happening. If the mind entertains doubts, if you have any kind of, just think about the primary object or center. Otherwise, be aware of what is happening. You have to make sure it is not a mental proliferation, it is not a daydreaming, it is not fantasizing, it is happening really. It is under your very nose, then everything comes under mindfulness. Even without discrimination, be aware that means you are fully alert.
In my sitting meditation, my primary object sometimes changes from the nostrils to the abdomen, and it's like kind of, it's not sure which one to choose. So, do you have any advice on how to make, or which one is good for me, or which one to choose?
Another way of the same question, when you try to focus the attention while in walking or sitting, mind usually not going to the one single object, is going to number of objects. So everything indicates you are alert, you are mindful. Don't be choosy, let the mind to be roaming around things. That means you let the mind to play. But if you are worrying about the concentration, if you are worrying about the focusing, you have to have one single object and repetitive application. But here it is not much we are focusing, we are worrying only for the mindfulness. So while you are driving, you are supposed to see through the windscreen. But the side windows, side mirrors, everything available, they all bring information. So occasionally you have to look everything, but keep the primary object or the windscreen first. So likewise, you know you are here and now. And sometimes the breathing becomes prominent, sometimes rising and falling, sometimes the body weight, sometimes the wind power, everything. So as far as they are here and now, they are living objects, don't be choosy, choiceless awareness. That term given me, choiceless awareness. Be aware of everything without premeditated idea about this must be better than this one. Be aware. So the mind is at ease then. Not fighting, not tensed.
I would have another one. Sometimes, I don't know if it's just my imagination or, but I feel like I share my mind with another being sometimes, or other beings visiting, this kind of stuff. How do I contemplate it, or how do I deal with this kind of things?
You have to understand whether it is a concept or reality. You also guess it is mostly conceptual. So, but the reality that you are sitting here, touching the air here, and the rising and falling is verifiable. It's a reality. And these things you can't verify. From the beginning, middle and end, all imagination, all thinking. So whenever it is happening, you give priority to the verifiable object, the physical object, the tangible object. So you are well anchored. Whenever you are going with the imagination, thinking and daydreaming and fantasizing, you are just floating. And it is not well anchored. But the boundary between the imagination or concept and the reality is very sharp, very tricky. Very difficult because both are mind-made. So therefore mind says imagination as reality and reality as imagination. So you have to start with the very physics. What is tangible, what is concrete, you believe, rather than concepts. So therefore basic idea for this is just to give priority for the realistic, concrete and verifiable object, and don't try to suppress it, but don't give priority for the imagination, daydreaming, fantasizing, or another beings and mediums and all the kind of thing. they are not quite abnormal, but very difficult to verify, very difficult to be concrete about. So that is why the Buddha says, start with the body, the physicality, which is verifiable.
Another question. Sometimes when I feel pain, then if it kind of takes a pretty long time that I endure this pain, then there's aversion and kind of irritability and grumpiness, and I find myself kind of wondering, because then it is pretty difficult to just observe it, because I also notice then that I'm restless, and I have difficulty deciding what to do. If I should just nonetheless try to stay and kind of keep noticing, or maybe try to do a little bit of samatha, like really try to focus on the breathing, or choose a particular object and stay with that.
Two things. One thing is, if it is happening right from the beginning of the sitting, you are the loser. If it is not happening right from the beginning, you can be with the primary object. After a while, on the pain start to come in. And when the pain start to come in, it's a very funny character in the pain. You cannot be unmindful on pain. You can be unmindful on breath. You can be unmindful in anything, but when the pain happens, you are utterly dragged into that. So therefore it is more hilarious, more adventurous to be with the pain. But it is very sour in taste and very disheartening and all the kind of thing. But whenever the pain happens, the only thing is how to get a distance from the pain and then still be observed. But you can get a distance from the pleasurable feeling, but not with the painful feeling. Because our mind is getting kind of attached into to hatred.
Yeah.
So only to get the distance from the pain is to understand the undermining hatred. While the pain is happening, by keeping the view with pain, you can see the hate. Hate is what you added, not the pain. So you have to understand what you add to the pain, the hatred that you add to the pain is the most disturbing thing. But that never happened with the impersonal object. It is a neutral object. So therefore you can be unmindful of the impersonal object, but never with the pain. Because that you are with the negative feeling. Imagine after practicing, if you can remove this hatred element from the pain, you can look at the pain as if someone else. So, in doctors, when you are doing operations, the surgeons, they must be clinical distance from the patient. Otherwise, they can't cut open. So therefore, doctors, the surgeons are not supposed to do operation to his own son. He can't. Because he recognizes the patient. So to be professional, you have to get distance from the patient, and then only you can cut off. So that is the same principle you apply to get a distance from the pain and observe it without adding hatred with that. Then it is also another phenomenon, just like arising, becoming prominent and disappearing. But whenever you add hatred to that, it appears like a consistent and sustenance. So try to see, the early part of your, if you be alert, you can see where the early part of your painful feeling, how the hatred comes and disturbs the situation. So, the teaching of the Buddha says, pain itself is not unbearable. It becomes unbearable because of the addition. You add pain, then only you get involved and you start getting defiled. So, even you are noting, even if you are adverting of the mind to the pain, never happen as far as the hate is there. So you have to understand the hate and the feeling separately, and what is the role of the hatred in the painful feeling. So it will be easier in the early part of your painful feeling and the mild painful feeling, not the medium, not the very sharp one. So do it with, for an experimental basis. Whenever feeling happens, you add either pleasure or pain. That is your own personality trait. You think he also the same, applying the same label to the same pain. Never. He is separate, you are different. You do in your own way. Your pain may be a pleasure to another person. So this understanding is very interesting more than the physicality. This is the material thing. So whenever you are going to work with pain, be aware your addition, your infusion of the pleasure and pain. Then your meditation is completely bewildered. You can't control. But if you go prepared to see your own addition, your own understanding this as a pain or pleasure, then it's very interesting how we are being introduced to, we are being developed our script in our mind to whenever this happens to label it as a pleasure or pain. And if you can take care about that, if you can be aware of that, it will take time. Then you understand that pain or pleasure never come with that its own infliction. You are the one labeling it. After that only it becomes adamant, unbearable, bewildered, and therefore not like a physical object. The pain comes, it always with camouflaged mind, pleasure or pain. But the day you manage to remove this pain or pleasure, as a pleasurable or painful idea, you get a distance from the pain. So there is pleasurable pain. If you remove this your addition, it's a very skillful thing. That's why after the development of skillfulness in Kaya-anupassana, the corporeality, then only you go to the Vedana-anupassana to understand the feelings. So therefore, go prepared, and if you get a chance, maybe 15-20 minutes before the pain sets in, and if you are fully, utterly mindful about the primary object of your corporeality, then you can expect the pain to happen, and you can analyze it, how much you add the label, pleasure and pain. Then you can see the picture becomes completely different.
Sometimes when, for instance, in the morning when I'm not in pain and I'm kind of mindful, then I can kind of separate it. Okay, this is the aversion, and this is just the raw pain. It's just that after some time, I tend to get into this kind of grumpy, irritable mood, and then it is difficult. I kind of get lost in it and don't separate it too much. So
imagine when there is no pain, you are mindful on the in-breath and out-breath, and still there are some basic level of feelings in your body. They are not inflicting, they are not threatening you, they are below the datum level, and you can deal with it, such a pain. You have not labeled it pleasure or pain, but because mindful is the primary object, mindfulness also is very sharp, and then they are there, it doesn't matter. But when the mindfulness becomes weaker, when the time passes, they come above the surface level, then mind gets entangled with either adding with the label of pain or pleasure. Then only it becomes inflicting. Then only it inflicts. So you have to go prepared. Whenever there is no pain, have to be aware. The best example is when we are treating children. They complain they have the pain. Yeah. the right leg. They're supposed to be sitting and be aware of the breath, but they complain the leg is painful. Then I sometimes say, through the pain, can you still see the breath or completely breath is gone? If you really, really sharp, through the pain occasion you can see one or two in-breath and out-breath. So that means the continuity of the pain is disturbed now. And then I asked him to see the left leg, no pain. Immediately you see the left leg, you see our mind is so attracted to pain, there is no pain. Get the point? Our mind is always searching for suffering. Such a funny mind. So I told that the girl, and then she told, next day she came and told, one day I went there and I got the right leg pain and I was trying to see the left leg, but both the knees are painful. Then what to do? Then I asked her to see the elbows. No pain. And when there's no pain, no case. Our mind is searching for something irritating, something inflicting, and storytelling. And instead you have to give the direction into the no pain situation. Or, whenever you're mindful, before the pain sets in, you can search for pain. They are there, below the datum level. And you can take one and see whether it's pain or pleasure. Label is not there. The pain is there, but you have not put it to black and white. Then it is not inflicting. After a while, that particular thing comes above surface, then starts storytelling. Then fabrication happens. So therefore the Buddha say pain, pleasure or pain, two kinds, physical and mental. There's a particular cause for physical thing, but mental part is the aggravating, storytelling thing, and fabrication. And even if you are a person very rich and everything, still you can be a sufferer. So mentally you are fabricating. Mentally you are storytelling. So people think the pleasure is in the luxuries or external good conditions, but not necessarily. Because mind can make stories and agony and the hell under any circumstance. So pain is a very good episode for that.
Because mindfulness is not very strong yet, so the mind is watching the sensations in the body, but it's still a little bit kind of sleepy, and the body is also like moving because it's like going asleep a little bit or something. And also this generates a lot of sensations in the body. And when they get unpleasant, then the body straightens up and it's relieved and it's like pleasant feeling. But sometimes I'm suspicious that the mind is generating all this circle, like producing some sensations and then reducing them and like playing with it. But if I try really forcibly to stop the body from moving, it's a kind of stiffness produced in the body. So I don't know how to deal with it, whether just to let the body move or really try to hold it, or how to distinguish whether it's natural or whether the mind is playing and creating it artificially.
So that is, you have to talk with respect to the primary object. When the primary object is very gross and face to face with the breath, the mindfulness, no nonsense. Everything very sharp and clear. But whenever the meditation increases, mindfulness gathers the momentum, the primary object becomes subtle. And still you can see the mindfulness, you can see the primary object, you can see the secondary object. After a while, primary object becomes subtlest. Then mindfulness is handling the external object rather than the primary object. That means you are not keeping the track with the primary object from gross to the subtle to the subtlest. So then you are vulnerable to make storytelling and meddling with all the peripheral things. So therefore, next time you have to understand, not only you keep the mindfulness face to face with the primary object, But you have to see the evolution of the primary object, the changing nature of the primary object. So sometimes it becomes gross, then you are very safe and quiet. But when the primary object becomes subtle and subtler, that is a very advanced stage. It is not a weakness of your mindfulness. So you have to go prepared. Don't let the mind to lose the primary objects and start meddling with the secondary objects. Try to keep the primary object in view. For example, nowadays you have the moon in the mid-air. But the early morning when you go to a higher place, you can see moon is still bright and the sun is rising. When the sun becomes brighter and brighter, moon becomes very waning off. That if you look here and there, you can't see the moon. But if you keep the track with the moon, keep the track with the stars, you can still keep the track. That means you know now it is about to cease, about to disappear, about to tapering off, but you sharp keep on. Then you can go further and further to the disappearing moon, to the disappearing stars. And that if you are ready to see the disappearance part of the breath, the disappearance part of the rising and falling, the disappearance part of your primary object, there you are not human then. You are superhuman. Everything is very dramatic. Primary object becomes very fading off. But still you keep sharp eye with that fading off thing, while other objects are intruding. So that is the way you are going against the grain. Whenever the challenge happens, you know where to focus. You have to understand why. So this is the challenge. It is not the challenge for a beginner. It is the advanced yogi's challenge. So if you can go prepared, you must be happy. Now object is disappearing. Don't let mindfulness down. Mindfulness is at a challenge now. So take the side of mindfulness and keep on observing the disappearing object rather than appearing secondary object. Then your adverting power, your sharpness is increasing, then only you are going to your subconscious. Otherwise you are working with the sensory area, the conscious mind. So when the object disappearing, still if you keep the traffic and go there, you can see that you can make a tunnel to your subconscious. While attractive things are many, but still you never lose the track. Keep on the fading off, keeping on the monotonous object, boring object, disappearing object, and still the mindfulness you never let go. That is a kind of a cut through from the rational mind. It's a kind of a irrational thing. So give a try.
May I ask another question? I will try to explain it. You were talking about this pain and the approach of the mind to the pain, that when we get too much engaged with this pain, then it's increasing all the time a little bit. But when we are able to see it as not ourself or something, then it's decreasing slowly. So it's always a play that how I see this pain, whether it's me or not. But my experience is that it's usually increasing. But then my question is that it is possible that this increased level of pain, when you try on this increased level, very strongly concentrate and keep the concentration on the primary object for a longer time, then it suddenly drops and the pleasure appears, and suddenly the pain returns to the normal level and you are able to it feels like a very pleasurable feeling. But it takes only for a short time, 5 or 10 minutes, and then the pain again starts slowly to increase. So is it possible that this is caused by the strong concentration on the primary object?
The 3 facts also there involved. Because if you keep on observing, it is increasing only a painful feeling. Pleasurable feeling never increase. Okay? Second thing, it is increasing because of a hatred increasing. But still you keep on fighting and you understand my antagonism and fighting is happening. So you understand, you add fuel. And end of the pleasurable, painful feeling is always pleasurable. It's a fact. You are not waiting till the end of the pleasurable feeling, painful feeling. You go to another feeling, that's also increasing, that is also increasing. So therefore, if you manage to see the arising and thriving and disappearance of the painful feeling, end of the painful feeling is always pleasurable. We are so impatient to see the whole way.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
That's why it says that patient people can go to Nibbana. Other people, they only see the sour part of the painful feeling and again to the next painful is still sour and jumping to another feeling because your hatred. You get engaged. So they have to understand each and every painful feeling, they end up with pleasure. Each and every pleasurable feeling end up with pain. So I give this kind of an alternative example. Suppose you are in meditation, in sitting, and your primary object is very clear, it's breath. And all of a sudden sound happens. And mind is jump into sound. And you understand you are no more mindful. You are in sound. And knowing that if you can come back again to the breath, the coming back part to the breath is pleasurable part. From the distracted mind to the mindful mind. And when that happens, if you can clearly observe the mind coming back to the breath, it's the most adventurous part of your meditation. You never report it. You never recognize it. You always complain about going out mind. So, but you have to change it and see each and every time it go out, it's coming back. Don't worry about the going out, trace the way back home. So that means each and every distraction is a reason to be glad. But you must know the art. You must know the art. The end of the pleasurable, painful feeling is a pleasure. The end of the pleasurable feeling is always a pain. So therefore it is hacking you, it is disturbing you. Because we people are always searching for pleasure. But the way out is, there's a kind of a feeling, no pain, no pleasure. And that is what we call boring. That's why we call monotonous. That's why we call fearful. So the day you try to understand pain and the pleasure, and the transitional place, the grey area, the no pain, no pleasure, we are 80% of your time we are in no pain, no pleasure. We don't do. We never report. We are reporting only the distracting, painful, hacking, the inflicting part. Because our mind is always searching for suffering. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, sometimes it happened to me that I wasn't feeling pain for a long time and I
searching.
It was supposed to break already. Let me check. And it started, I checked a few times and the pain started to increase.
So when you see the newspapers, when you see the television, when you go for teledrama, each time you are searching for suffering. You feel boring without news. You feel boring without looking at the television. You never think by looking at your agitating mind and finding the black and white and everything, and your starting point is no pain, no pleasure. So you think, I must look into paper, I must see novels, or I must see teledrama and all the kind of thing. So our mind is searching for this kind of dramatic things, painful thing, sadistic, masochist.
Isn't it searching because it has the experience that this is the normal way, that we lived our lives for many years, and we experienced always that the pain will come.
Not only that, you are inflicting same thing to your children. You are inflicting the same thing to your parents. So not only you live your life, you put others also into the same boat. So we have to suffer, because we are doing wrong thing. Whenever they are very calm and quiet, we feel sick. We want to put them into something action. And we also, whenever we feel very calm and quiet, we take some and go and do as newspaper kind of thing. So it's interesting to see. But don't look at weakness in others, it creates problems. See your own weakness. Others can give examples. And there you can see, whenever we feel no pain, no pleasure, we are searching for something dramatic. Burning the candle from both the ends. You are not burning the candle upright. You have to keep horizontal burning 2 weeks. It's very good. So when it is happening, when you are learning it, it takes a long time to de-learn. No more than the bodily sensitivity or corporeality, pain, the immaterial part is very, very lucrative, very, very informative, very, very full of Dhamma. So you have to go prepared with the bodily mindfulness, and we expect now pain will happen with the pleasure of pain, pleasurable feeling or painful feeling, then everything becomes dramatic. Go prepared, don't put a label, good or bad, pleasure or pain. Be aware choicelessly. The pain can't inflict you. And whenever someone is suffering, don't get agitated. Ask him or she, what you need from the person asking. Don't go into and see, don't try to see your own labeling for that. So it's very difficult to live in a society where people they work with their own values, their own labels, and we think everyone is we are in the same mental condition, we are with the same label. No, we are different. So you have to first put yourself into the test and see. We are always happy with dramatic things. So technology and the infrastructure and the communication give the best meal. So when you come here, if you are without a phone and without information and kind of thing, you feel boring. You find this is not dramatic. So you feel like get up and go. So it's a very good thing to, whenever you do continuously for a long time, only these things can you observe, not in a quick way. The mindfulness must be sustained. Not only the material, it has to go to the feeling part. Whenever going there, it is very demanding, very challenging. But if you go prepared, there's a principle, there's a methodology. But overnight it will never happen. By one incident it will never happen. It has to happen again and again to reiterate it. Okay, now we are going to take 15 minutes and meeting again for the matter.